When a narcissist messes with a quiet super empath, they're in for a big surprise. It might seem like the narcissist has all the power at first, but that's not how the story ends. The quiet super empath has a hidden strength that turns the tables on the narcissist. This is a tale of unexpected twists, where the gentle giant becomes the victor. Imagine a world where kindness is a superpower. That's the world of the quiet super empath. But in this same world, there are people who try to take advantage of that kindness. These are the narcissists. When these two meet, it's like a cosmic dance of light and shadow. The narcissist thinks they've found an easy target, but they've actually stumbled upon their worst nightmare. The quiet super empath might seem soft and easy to push around. They're the ones who listen more than they talk, who feel deeply for others, and who often put others' needs before their own. The narcissist sees this and thinks they've hit the jackpot, but they're wrong, so very wrong. This isn't just a story. It's a wake-up call for anyone who's ever felt pushed around or taken advantage of. It's for the kind souls who worry that their gentleness is a weakness. But most of all, it's for anyone who's dealing with a difficult person in their life and wondering if things will ever change. Understanding what happens when a narcissist messes with a quiet super empath is like having a secret map to navigate tricky relationships. It's not just about these two types of people. It's about understanding the power dynamics in all our interactions. When we know how this dance plays out, we can make better choices in our own lives. This knowledge is like a shield and a sword. It protects the gentle souls from being taken advantage of, and it gives them the tools to stand up for themselves. For those dealing with difficult people, it offers hope. It shows that being kind doesn't mean being weak. In fact, it can be your greatest strength. But this isn't just about personal battles. This understanding can change how we see the world. It challenges the idea that the loudest or most aggressive person always wins. It shows us that there's power in empathy, in understanding, and in quiet strength. This can change how we approach conflicts, how we build relationships, and even how we raise our children. Knowing this story can be life-changing. It can help people recognize toxic patterns in their relationships. It can give them the courage to set boundaries. For some, it might be the push they need to leave a harmful situation. For others, it might be the inspiration to embrace their empathic nature fully. This knowledge is also a warning to those who might be showing narcissistic tendencies. It's a reminder that treating others poorly always has consequences, even if they're not immediately visible. It's an invitation to choose a better path, to cultivate empathy, and to build genuine connections. In a world that often seems to reward the loudest and most aggressive, this story offers a different perspective. It suggests that true strength often lies in compassion, in emotional intelligence, and in the ability to connect deeply with others. It's a reminder that the quiet ones, the ones who feel deeply, have a unique kind of power. Understanding this dynamic can also help us be better friends, partners, and colleagues. It can make us more aware of the people around us, more appreciative of the quiet strength some possess, and more cautious of those who might try to take advantage of kindness. It's knowledge that ripples out, affecting not just our personal lives, but our communities as well. Now let's talk about the star of our story, the quiet super empath. This isn't just someone who's nice or a good listener, A quiet super empath is like an emotional sponge with superpowers. They don't just understand how others feel, they feel it themselves, deep in their bones. Imagine walking into a room and instantly knowing how everyone there is feeling, not just on the surface, but the deep, hidden feelings people try to hide. That's what it's like for a quiet super empath. They pick up on the smallest signs, a slight change in tone, a tiny shift in body language, and they understand what it means. But here's the thing. Quiet super empaths don't just feel emotions. They absorb them. When someone near them is sad, they feel that sadness as if it were their own. When someone's excited, they feel that bubbling joy inside themselves. It's like they're emotional chameleons, changing to match the feelings around them. This might sound overwhelming, and sometimes it is. But quiet super empaths have learned to handle this flood of feelings. They've developed a deep well of compassion. They're often the ones people turn to when they need support, because somehow the quiet super empath always seems to know exactly what to say or do to make things better. Quiet super empaths are also great listeners. They have this amazing ability to make people feel heard and understood. When you talk to a quiet super empath, you might find yourself sharing things you've never told anyone else. There's something about them that makes people feel safe and accepted. But don't mistake their quietness for weakness. Quiet super empaths have a strong inner core. They've had to develop this to handle all the emotions they deal with every day. They're like emotional ninjas, calm and quiet on the surface, but with incredible strength and skill underneath. Quiet super empaths are also very intuitive. They often know things without being told. They might sense when someone's having a bad day before a word is spoken, or they might have a feeling about a situation that turns out to be spot on. It's like they have a sixth sense for the emotional world. One of the most amazing things about quiet super empaths is their capacity for forgiveness. Because they understand people's emotions so well, they often see the pain or fear behind bad behavior. This doesn't mean they let people walk all over them, but it does mean they have a unique ability to see the good in people, even when it's hidden. Quiet super empaths are also very creative. All those emotions and experiences they absorb don't just disappear. Often, they come out in beautiful ways through art, music, writing, or other creative pursuits. Their rich inner world gives them a unique perspective that often leads to incredible creative expression. But being a quiet super empath isn't always easy. Sometimes they care so much about others that they forget to take care of themselves. They might get so caught up in helping others that they neglect their own needs. Learning to set boundaries and practice self-care is crucial for quiet super empaths. Quiet super empaths often have a deep connection to nature. They might find peace in a forest, by the ocean, or even just sitting in a garden. Nature doesn't have the complicated emotions that people do, so it can be a soothing balm for the quiet super empath's sensitive soul. In relationships, quiet super empaths are often the glue that holds things together. They have a knack for smoothing over conflicts and helping people understand each other. They're the ones who remember birthdays, who know just what to say when someone's having a tough time, and who can brighten a room just by being in it. Quiet super empaths also tend to be very spiritual. Not necessarily in a religious sense, but in the way they see the interconnectedness of all things. They often have a strong sense of purpose and a desire to make the world a better place. This isn't just a vague wish. For them, it's a deep-seated need to help and heal. One interesting thing about quiet super empaths is that they often attract people who need healing. Sometimes this includes people with narcissistic tendencies. The quiet super empath's ability to listen, understand, and offer compassion can be very appealing to someone who's used to being judged or criticized. Quiet super empaths have an amazing ability to see the best in people. They often believe in others more than those people believe in themselves. This can be incredibly powerful. Their faith in someone can help that person become the best version of themselves. But it can also lead to disappointment if the other person doesn't live up to the empath's vision of them. In the workplace, quiet super empaths are often the unsung heroes. They're the ones who notice when a colleague is struggling and offer support. They're great at teamwork because they can sense what others need and adapt to it. They might not always be the loudest voice in the room, but their contributions are invaluable. Quiet super empaths often have a great sense of humor. Because they understand emotions so well, they're often able to find the funny side of situations. Their humor tends to be kind, though. They're not the type to laugh at others' expense. One challenge for quiet super empaths is learning to trust their own perceptions. Because they're so attuned to others' feelings and opinions, they sometimes doubt their own. Learning to trust their intuition and stand firm in their own truth is an important part of their journey. Quiet super empaths are often drawn to helping professions. They might become therapists, teachers, nurses, or work in other roles where they can use their empathy to make a difference. But even if their job isn't directly about helping others, they find ways to bring their compassionate nature into whatever they do. In friendships, quiet super empaths are the ones you can always count on. They're there to celebrate your successes, comfort you in your sorrows, and stand by you through thick and thin. They have a gift for making people feel valued and understood. Quiet super empaths often have rich inner lives. They might enjoy solitude more than others, using this time to recharge and process all the emotions and experiences they absorb. They might keep journals, create art, or simply spend time in quiet reflection. One of the most powerful things about quiet super empaths is their ability to hold space for others. This means they can be present with someone who's going through a tough time without trying to fix it or make it better. They simply offer their presence and understanding, which can be incredibly healing. Quiet super empaths often have a strong sense of justice. They feel deeply for those who are suffering or treated unfairly. This can drive them to work for positive change in the world, even if it's in small, quiet ways. Learning to set boundaries is crucial for quiet super empaths because they feel others' emotions so strongly. They need to learn when to step back and protect their own energy. This doesn't mean closing themselves off, but rather learning to be compassionate without taking on everyone else's problems. Quiet super empaths have a unique ability to bring out the best in others. Their genuine interest and belief in people can inspire others to grow and become better versions of themselves. In this way, quiet super empaths can be catalysts for positive change in the lives of those around them. Now, let's talk about the other character in our story, the narcissist. If the quiet super empath is like a soothing balm, The narcissist is more like a prickly cactus. They're not all bad, but they can sure be hard to handle. A narcissist is someone who's in love with themselves, but not in a healthy way. It's like they're stuck looking in a mirror all the time, admiring their own reflection. They think they're the most important person in the world and that everyone should treat them that way. Narcissists often come across as very confident and charming at first. They know how to turn on the charm when they want to. They might sweep you off your feet with grand gestures and big promises, but over time you start to see that it's all about them. One of the big things about narcissists is that they have trouble feeling empathy. While the quiet super empath feels everyone's emotions, the narcissist has a hard time understanding or caring about how others feel. They might say they care, but their actions often show otherwise. Narcissists love attention. They want to be the star of the show all the time. If someone else is getting attention, they might try to steal the spotlight or put that person down. They often brag about their achievements and exaggerate their importance. Another trait of narcissists is that they have a hard time taking criticism. Even gentle feedback can feel like a huge attack to them. They might lash out angrily or try to turn things around and blame the other person. They rarely admit when they're wrong. Narcissists often have a sense of entitlement. They think they deserve special treatment and get upset when they don't get it. They might cut in line, break rules, or ignore other people's boundaries because they think those rules don't apply to them. One tricky thing about narcissists is that deep down, they often have very low self-esteem. All that bragging and attention-seeking is like a mask they wear to hide their insecurities. But instead of dealing with these feelings in a healthy way, they push them onto others. Narcissists can be very manipulative. They're often good at figuring out what makes people tick and using that knowledge to get what they want. They might use guilt, flattery, or even threats to control others. In relationships, narcissists can be very difficult. They often want their partner to revolve around them, giving them constant attention and admiration. But they have trouble giving love and support in return. They might cheat or flirt with others to boost their ego. Narcissists often have a pattern of using people. They might be super nice to someone when they need something, but once they get what they want, they lose interest. They tend to see relationships in terms of what they can get out of them, not as genuine connections. At work, narcissists might take credit for other people's work or blame others for their mistakes. They often think they're the smartest person in the room and have trouble working as part of a team. They might brown-nose the boss while being mean to people they see as beneath them. Narcissists can be very jealous. They hate to see others succeed, especially if they think that success outshines their own. They might try to put down someone else's achievements or find ways to compete, even when it's not appropriate. One confusing thing about narcissists is that they can be very charming and likable when they want to be. They might be the life of the party or seem like the perfect partner at first. This can make it hard for people to see their true nature until they've gotten in deep. Narcissists often have a hard time with intimacy. Real closeness requires vulnerability, and that's scary for them. They might push people away or create drama to avoid getting too close. This can make their relationships very unstable. It's important to note that narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some people might have a few narcissistic traits without being full-blown narcissists. And even those with strong narcissistic tendencies are still human beings with their own struggles. Narcissists often have a history of trauma or neglect in their past. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help explain where it comes from. Understanding this can be important for those dealing with narcissists, especially if they're family members. One challenge with narcissists is that they rarely seek help on their own. They usually don't think they have a problem. In their mind, everyone else is the problem. This can make it very hard for them to change or grow. Narcissists often surround themselves with people who boost their ego. They might have a group of admirers or followers who they can impress and control. This reinforces their sense of superiority and makes it harder for them to see reality. In conflicts, narcissists often use a tactic called gaslighting. This means they try to make the other person doubt their own perceptions or memories. They might deny saying something they definitely said, or insist that the other person is overreacting or crazy. Narcissists can be very vengeful if they feel slighted. If someone stands up to them or calls them out on their behavior, they might go to great lengths to get revenge. This can make people afraid to confront them or set boundaries. It's worth noting that not all confident or self-assured people are narcissists. Healthy self-esteem is different from narcissism. The key difference is that people with healthy self-esteem can still empathize with others and don't need constant admiration. When a narcissist meets a quiet super empath, it's like a moth to a flame. The narcissist is drawn to the empath's warmth, understanding, and seemingly endless supply of attention and care. But what starts as an attraction can quickly turn into a battle. At first, things might seem great. The narcissist turns on the charm, showering the empath with attention and compliments. The empath, with their ability to see the best in people, is touched by what they perceive as the narcissist opening up to them. They might feel like they've found someone who truly appreciates their caring nature. But as time goes on, the true dynamics start to show. The narcissist begins to take advantage of the empath's kindness. They might start with small things, asking for favors, expecting the empath to drop everything for them, or guilt-tripping them when they don't get their way. The empath, always eager to help, often goes along with it. The narcissist starts to see the empath as a source of constant admiration and support. They expect the empath to always be there, always understanding, always putting the narcissist's needs first. When the empath inevitably falls short of these impossible standards, the narcissist can become angry or manipulative. Meanwhile, the empath starts to feel drained. All that emotional energy they're pouring into the narcissist isn't being replenished. They might start to feel confused. Why do they feel so tired and sad when they're with someone who seemed so wonderful at first? Their natural empathy might lead them to make excuses for the narcissist's behavior. The narcissist's lack of empathy starts to clash with the empath's deep sensitivity. The empath might share something personal or vulnerable, only to have the narcissist dismiss it or make it about themselves. This leaves the empath feeling hurt and misunderstood. As the narcissist becomes more comfortable, they might start to criticize the empath. They might pick on the very qualities that attracted them in the first place, calling the empath too sensitive or too nice. The empath who feels emotions deeply is often deeply hurt by these criticisms. The empath's ability to sense others' emotions becomes both a blessing and a curse. They can feel the narcissist's inner pain and insecurity, which makes them want to help even more. But they also feel the full force of the narcissist's anger or coldness, which can be overwhelming. A push-pull dynamic often develops. The narcissist might pull away or create drama, causing the empath to chase after them, trying to fix things. Then, when the empath starts to pull away, the narcissist might love bomb them to reel them back in. This creates a roller coaster of emotions for the empath. The narcissist might start to gaslight the empath, making them question their own perceptions and feelings. They might deny saying hurtful things or insist that the empath is overreacting. For the empath, who is usually very in tune with their emotions, this can be especially confusing and distressing. The empath might find themselves walking on eggshells, always trying to keep the narcissist happy to avoid conflict. They might start to lose touch with their own needs and feelings as they focus all their energy on the narcissist. The narcissist's jealousy can become a big issue. They might become upset when the empath pays attention to anyone else, even friends or family. They might try to isolate the empath, making them feel guilty for spending time with others. The empath's natural desire to help and heal often kicks into overdrive. They might think that if they just love the narcissist enough, or if they can help the narcissist see their own worth, things will get better. This can keep them stuck in the relationship long after it's become unhealthy. The narcissist might use the empath's empathy against them. They might play the victim to gain sympathy, or use the empath's caring nature to manipulate them into doing what the narcissist wants. As time goes on, the empath might start to lose their spark. Their usual joy and zest for life might dim as they pour more and more energy into managing the narcissist's moods and needs. Friends and family might notice that the empath seems different, less vibrant. The empath might start to feel like they're losing themselves. Their strong intuition, which they've always relied on, might feel clouded. They might start to doubt their own judgment, wondering if they're really as kind and caring as they thought, or if they're somehow to blame for the relationship problems. The narcissist, sensing the empath pulling away, might escalate their behavior. They might become more demanding, more critical, or even resort to threats to keep the empath under control. This often pushes the empath to a breaking point. Throughout all of this, the empath's inherent goodness often shines through. Even when they're hurting, they might still try to see the best in the narcissist. They might make excuses for the narcissist's behavior or blame themselves. This goodness, while admirable, can keep them trapped in a toxic situation. The clash between the narcissist and the empath often affects others around them. Friends and family might feel helpless as they watch the once vibrant empath become more withdrawn. The narcissist might try to turn others against the empath, painting themselves as the victim. This period of clash can be incredibly painful and confusing for the empath. Everything they thought they knew about themselves and about love might be called into question. But it's also often the beginning of an important journey, one that will ultimately lead to growth and self-discovery for the empath. Every story has a turning point, and in the tale of the narcissist and the quiet super empath, this moment is both powerful and transformative. It's the moment when the empath finally says, "Enough." This turning point doesn't usually happen overnight. It's more like a slow awakening, a gradual realization that something isn't right. The empath might start to notice patterns in the narcissist's behavior that they'd overlooked before. They might begin to recognize the manipulation and emotional abuse for what it is. Often, there's a specific event that acts as the final straw. Maybe the narcissist goes too far with their criticism, or maybe they hurt someone the empath cares about. Whatever it is, it's enough to shake the empath out of their fog of self-doubt and people-pleasing. The empath's natural intuition, which may have been muffled by the narcissist's manipulation, starts to speak up again. It whispers, then shouts, that this situation is not okay. The empath begins to trust their own perceptions again, realizing that their feelings are valid and important. This awakening can be painful. The empath might feel angry at the narcissist for their behavior, but also at themselves for allowing it to continue for so long. They might feel grief for the relationship they thought they had, and for the parts of themselves they've lost along the way. But along with the pain comes strength. The empath starts to reconnect with their core values, remembering who they are and what they stand for. They begin to set boundaries, maybe for the first time in their life. These boundaries might be small at first, but they're significant. The narcissist, sensing this change, often reacts strongly. They might ramp up their manipulative tactics, trying to guilt the empath into backing down. They might make grand promises of change or threats about what will happen if the empath leaves. But this time, the empath stands firm. This turning point is when the empath's true power begins to show. All those qualities that made them vulnerable to the narcissist, their empathy, their sensitivity, their deep capacity for love, become their greatest strengths. They use their empathy to understand the narcissist's tactics, their sensitivity to trust their own feelings, and their capacity for love to start caring for themselves. The empath might seek help during this time, from friends, family, or professionals. They start to rebuild their support network, reconnecting with people the narcissist might have pushed away. They begin to remember who they were before the narcissist came into their life. This turning point is also when the empath starts to reclaim their voice. They speak up for themselves, maybe quietly at first, but with growing confidence. They start to express their needs and wants, even if it means risking conflict. As the empath grows stronger, the narcissist's world starts to crumble. This is the falldown, the moment when the narcissist realizes their usual tactics aren't working anymore. At first, the narcissist might not believe it. They've always been able to control the empath before, so they keep trying their old tricks. They might love bomb the empath, showering them with affection and promises. When that doesn't work, they might try guilt-tripping or gaslighting. But to their shock, the empath doesn't fall for it. The narcissist's sense of entitlement takes a big hit. They're used to getting their way, to having the empath cater to their every whim. When the empath starts saying no and sticking to it, the narcissist feels like the rug has been pulled out from under them. This loss of control often leads to what's called a narcissistic injury. The narcissist's fragile ego takes a beating. They might lash out in anger, making threats, or trying to punish the empath. But unlike before, these tactics now push the empath further away instead of pulling them back in. The narcissist might try to turn others against the empath, playing the victim and spreading lies. But often, people have seen through the narcissist's act by this point. The narcissist finds their support system dwindling as their manipulation stops working. The narcissist's true colors start to show more clearly. Their mask of charm and confidence slips, revealing the insecurity and neediness underneath. This can be a shocking moment for those who bought into the narcissist's carefully crafted image. The narcissist might go through periods of begging the empath to come back, followed by fits of rage when the empath refuses. This emotional roller coaster is exhausting for the narcissist, who's not used to dealing with their own intense emotions. In some cases, the narcissist might try to find a new source of supply, someone else to manipulate and feed their ego. But they often find that their old tricks don't work as well as they used to. The Falldown has shaken their confidence. This period can be dangerous, as some narcissists might escalate their behavior when they feel they're losing control. The empath needs to stay strong and prioritize their safety during this time. While the narcissist is falling down, the empath is rising up. This period of growth is powerful and transformative for the quiet super-empath. The empath starts to rediscover themselves. They remember hobbies and interests they'd set aside, reconnect with friends they'd lost touch with, and start dreaming about their future again. It's like they're coming back to life after a long sleep. One of the biggest areas of growth is in setting and maintaining boundaries. The empath learns that it's okay to say no, to have limits, and to prioritize their own needs. This is often challenging at first, but it gets easier with practice. The empath's natural compassion, which the narcissist took advantage of, becomes a strength. They learn to balance their care for others with care for themselves. They realize that they can be kind and empathetic without being a doormat. This growth period often involves a lot of self-reflection. The empath might explore why they were vulnerable to the narcissist in the first place. They might uncover and heal old wounds, breaking patterns that no longer serve them. The empath's intuition, which may have been doubted and ignored during their time with the narcissist, comes back stronger than ever. They learn to trust their gut feelings and honor their own perceptions. Many empaths find their voice during this time. They become advocates for themselves and others, speaking up against manipulation and abuse. Some even use their experiences to help other empaths who are still trapped in toxic relationships. The empath learns to value themselves. They realize that their worth doesn't come from how much they can give to others, but from who they are as a person. This self-love becomes a shield against future manipulation. This growth isn't always easy. There might be setbacks and moments of doubt. But each time the empath stands up for themselves, each boundary they maintain makes them stronger. Many empaths find that their empathic abilities, far from being a weakness, are actually their superpower. They learn to use their emotional intelligence in healthy ways, forming deep and meaningful connections with others who appreciate and reciprocate their care. If you're an empath who's dealing with a narcissist, or if you're recovering from such a relationship, here's some advice to help you protect your light. First and foremost, trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let anyone convince you that your feelings aren't valid. Learn to set and maintain healthy boundaries. It's okay to say no, to have limits, and to prioritize your own needs. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Educate yourself about narcissism and emotional manipulation. Knowledge is power. The more you understand these dynamics, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself. Build a support network of people who respect and value you. Surround yourself with positive influences who lift you up rather than tear you down. Practice self-care regularly. This isn't selfish. It's necessary. Take time to recharge, do things you enjoy, and nurture your physical and emotional health. Learn to validate yourself. Don't rely on others for your sense of worth. Recognize and celebrate your own strengths and achievements. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, have a safety plan. Narcissists can become dangerous when they feel they're losing control. Prioritize your safety above all else. Consider seeking professional help. A therapist who understands narcissistic abuse can be invaluable in your healing journey. Remember, it's okay to walk away from toxic relationships. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or love if they're not treating you with respect. Finally, don't lose your empathy. It's a gift, not a weakness. Learn to balance it with strong boundaries and self-care. In the end, the story of the quiet super empath and the narcissist is one of transformation and triumph. What began as a tale of manipulation and pain becomes a journey of self-discovery, growth, and empowerment. The narcissist, who thought they held all the power, finds their world crumbling as their tactics stop working. They're left to face their own insecurities and flaws, no longer able to use others as a shield against their inner turmoil. The empath, who might have felt weak and lost, emerges stronger than ever. They've learned to balance their natural compassion with healthy boundaries. They've found their voice and reclaimed their power. Their empathy, once exploited, becomes their greatest strength. This journey isn't easy. It's filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But each step forward, each boundary upheld, each act of self-love brings the empath closer to their true self. The quiet super empath's triumph isn't about defeating the narcissist. It's about reclaiming their own life, rediscovering their worth, and learning to shine their light without dimming it for anyone else. They learn that their sensitivity is not a weakness to be exploited, but a superpower to be cherished and protected. In the end, the empath realizes that the most important relationship they can have is with themselves. They learn to love, respect, and care for themselves with the same dedication they show to others. And from this place of self-love and empowerment, they're able to form healthier relationships and live a more authentic life. The quiet super empath's journey reminds us all of the power of resilience, the importance of self-love, and the strength that can be found in sensitivity. It's a testament to the fact that even in the darkest situations, there's always hope for growth, healing, and transformation. So to all the quiet super empaths out there, your empathy is your strength. Your sensitivity is your superpower. Don't let anyone dim your light. Stand in your power, honor your feelings, and remember, you have the strength to rise above any challenge that comes your way. Your story isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving and shining brighter than ever before.